Welcome to Climate Quickies, bite-sized nuggets of climate goodness from our TEDxLondon experts in under 5 minutes.
In this week's Climate Curious, we're taking a trip into the Amazon rainforest. Claudia Vega is a rainforest toxicologist on a mission to expose and mitigate the hidden dangers of mercury contamination in the Amazon. In the heart of the Peruvian Amazon and the largest illegal gold mining region in South America, she built a world-class laboratory and research program, revealing how unregulated gold mining poisons both wildlife and indigenous communities through the spread of toxic mercury. By partnering with miners, healthcare workers, and policymakers, Claudia transforms cutting-edge science into tangible solutions that protect these critical ecosystems. Over to Claudia to hear more. Stay curious.
Today we're talking to Claudia Vega, who is a rainforest toxicologist. What do you focus on?
Well, I'm focusing mercury, which is one of the top 10 chemicals of major concern for public health. This is declared by the WHO. So I study mercury in the Amazon, in the Peruvian Amazon. Why I'm studying it there is because they have artisanal gold mining in the Amazon, and they use the mercury to extract the gold. In the Amazon, they have this gold, which is not like rocks. They have gold in the sediment of the river.
Oh.
So when they want to extract the gold, they grab the sediment of the river, and since it's so little particles, they have to put mercury so it binds with the gold. It forms a mix of mercury with gold.
Okay.
And then they separate the gold from the sand or the sediment, and they burn it up.
And then that gets rid of the mercury and leaves the gold.
Exactly.
That's quite interesting. So they're using the mercury to kind of, I guess, clump the gold together so they can pull it out of the water more easily, or the river more easily, or the sediment. But mercury is really poisonous for people, right? So when you say they're using it, how? Like, are they, because you can't, I remember the idea this is like very back in the day, I almost remember it, but when you had those mercury thermometers,
Exactly.
You were told like, you have to be very careful. If it breaks, don't touch it. Like, it was like a really big deal to like be careful around the mercury.
I think in Latin America, we were not that aware of that, of the mercury poison, because I remember like thinking it was very cool. The mercury drops when you break the thermometer. There's no awareness of the risk, and that's what happened with miners there. You tell them that it's dangerous, and one of the answers that they have is like, I have been doing this for 30 years and I'm okay, I'm healthy.
What are the risks?
With the miners, they're probably going to have like, if they're breathing the mercury, right? Because mercury is a liquid and it evaporates. Even though you don't heat it, it's always evaporating.
Okay.
So they usually breathe the mercury, and mercury is a neurotoxin. That means it can affect your nervous system. It can give you a variety of effects. Can give you headache. You can start forgetting things. Also, you can have shaking hands. You start shaking without like controlling. When the miners breathe, also could have kidney problems.
So it's serious. It's really serious stuff.
It's serious. That's for the miners, but also when mercury contaminates like the forests and lakes and water bodies, it is transformed. The inorganic mercury that they use in the mining, it gets transformed in the sediment by a bacteria, and it's transformed to organic mercury or methyl mercury. And that form of mercury enters the food chain.
Oh,
and
wow.
it gets concentrated in like plants, fish, and the fish that eat other fish have higher levels. And that's how people could be exposed to mercury every day. What makes mercury such a concern is because when, for example, if a pregnant woman is eating contaminated fish, it could reach the baby and it could affect the brain of the baby. So you could have a newborn with disabilities.
What impacts are you starting to see from this artisanal gold mining then, locally or globally?
There are local impacts in the Amazon because we did this study where we registered like the highest level of mercury in a kingfisher in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, so we collect that sample in a mining concession, and it's like the highest ever registered.
Is it as toxic to like fish as it is to humans?
That's a very interesting question because first, I think mercury is a silent toxin because you can be exposed and you don't show the effect immediately. And like maybe when you show them, it will be kind of late.
Because it builds up in your body, right?
It does, you eliminate, but if you're eating all the time, you won't have time to eliminate.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously it has the impact on the biodiversity in the Amazon where it's happening and the people, I'm assuming, who are relying on the fish in that and the water in that area. Does it have wider effects as well?
Yeah, so one of the things of mercury is an element. It's like oxygen or nitrogen.
Yep.
So we cannot destroy it. And one thing with mercury is the only liquid metal. So that gives mercury very special property. It can move, evaporate, then it can travel in the air and the atmosphere, and it can travel long distance. So to give you an example, in the Arctic, there's the beluga whale, which is one of the mammals that have the highest levels of mercury register.
Oh, wow.
And they don't have direct sources of mercury in the Arctic.
Right.
But what happened, the mercury can travel and can get to places that are far away from where it's used.
When you say artisanal gold mining, what does that particularly mean? Is that different than other kinds of gold mining? Is it the use of mercury? Is that the difference?
Yeah, is the technique, which is mercury. Artisanal gold mining usually use mercury, and industrial gold mining, they use cyanide. Oh. But the thing with cyanide is that you can break it. And if you have a responsible mining, you could manage cyanide. But with mercury, you cannot break it.
Break it, you mean?
Like you cannot break it into something else or transform mercury.
Like the molecule itself.
Exactly. So
interesting.
It will be mercury forever. Yeah.
These mining sites. In my mind, when I think of a mine, I think of like a big industrial kind of like complex thing run by a big multinational company. Is that what we're talking about here?
No, the original name is artisanal small-scale gold mining. I don't say small scale anymore because I don't think the ways it is happening in Madre de Dios, which is where I'm working, is small scale anymore.
Okay.
But the technique is very, let's say, not fancy or sophisticated.
Okay. And so I guess also the people doing this then are local people.
Yeah.
Who rely on this kind of mining for their livelihoods?
Exactly. Actually, Madre de Dios is one of the places that have the highest rate of migration.
Okay.
So people from the south, from the Andes, they go to Madre de Dios to mine so they can get money for livelihood for their families.
Yes.
So at the end, I mean, they're just looking for a livelihood.
Yes.
Sometimes it's illegal because there are places in Peru that they can do mining, but most of the places are illegal. So that's why we call it illegal gold mining. In Peru, you can do legal artisanal gold mining, but in other countries of the Amazon is mainly illegal.
And so tell me about how your work is like addressing this problem.
So in the institution that I work, which is Amazon Center for Scientific Innovation, we believe that information is power. For example, you told me that you didn't know about this.
No.
Let's think you like fish. Let's pretend that you're an indigenous community.
Yeah.
And the only thing that you have to eat in the Amazon is mainly fish.
Yes.
But if I can tell you that if you choose certain fish, you will be exposed to lower levels. And if you eat other species, you will be exposed to higher levels.
Right.
So that's an information that I can give you and you have a choice to make.
Right.
So in local level, we work like that. And also we give this evidence, scientific evidence to stakeholders, to decision makers, so they can make decision based in science.
Right.
And not just something that I feel they are feeling, but something that is based in science.
And is it about changing the way this artisanal gold mining is done?
Yeah, we are also working on that.
Okay.
There are a group of miners that are mainly women.
Yeah.
They have this group of artisanal gold mining woman leader.
Right.
That they are doing it in a responsible way.
Okay.
Because one thing that we need to understand is not stopping doing mining. That's not going to happen. But we have to make it in a more responsible way. They are using other techniques. They are not using mercury. They are using mercury-free techniques. And they are also like trying to do diversification of the activity. They do other things with mining too. Like, for example, I know a girl that her family has this mining,
Yeah.
and they also have a research center next to it. And there's a place where they know there is gold, but they are not mining because they know they need to preserve that. So I think example like that, those are the ones that we have to follow.
So I'm assuming this gold ends up all over the world in products and things, right? I'm making that assumption. Is that true?
20% of the gold produced in the world come from artisanal gold mining from any part of the world.
Right.
And in Peru, about 40% of the gold produced in Peru come from artisanal gold mining.
Obviously, I'm not going around buying gold bars. But like, you know how with like diamonds, there was this certification or you can do lab grown, all this kind of stuff. Is there something with gold that allows you to know that it's coming from a source that is not polluting?
There isn't a reliable way of trace mercury origin right now. Also, we need a lot of political willing, like in the country where it's produced and also the country that buys it. Right now, I don't think there's like a way that you can know fast, like if it's certified mercury. There are some initiatives that they are selling certified mercury and they look for buyers and they are supposed to pay, and they pay incentive to the miners, but it's just a few ones.
Just a small number. So one of the things that you were doing was this idea that like the more people know, the better and more informed choices they can make.
Yeah.
That's true in terms of like what people might eat. Is it also about helping local communities find other work they can do or to do it in a safer way? Are you also providing that kind of information?
We outreach with the information of mercury effect to miners, to non-scientist people, to politicians. But that part of the process is a little bit complicated because if you think about it, like there's no other job that can give you money so fast like selling gold. They mine an ounce is $3,000.
That's a lot.
Just like that. So it's hard to find something that is as lucrative as gold. So we try to focus in the effects in health, and maybe the miners don't feel it because if they are exposed when they are adults, the effects are less evident, but maybe their kids are not learning as much as they should be learning. That's one part of the equation, and the other part also, and it's a difficult one, is working with politicians. Because one of the things that the miners say is that they don't have support. Like, it's even cheaper to produce illegal gold mining because you don't have to pay taxes, you don't have to do a lot of things, and then legal one. So the problem is very complex, and we have to approach it from different points.
Yeah, I thank you so much for sharing this work with us.
Thank
I have
you.
learned a lot. I love that vision of like the air and the water and the animals being more valuable than gold. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this quickie.
This episode was created by our superstar podcast team at TEDxLondon. Until next time.
Stay curious.